Hello, everyone. Adam here from the Baseball War Today podcast. Um, Probably a quick episode today, but before we start, I just want to say thank you for any support. And my goal for this month is 15 episodes. We're already on the second episode this month, so I believe that's a goal we're going to achieve, and I'm glad to anyone listening along the way. Let's get right into it. First, we're going to talk about some quick hits, and then we're going to go and look at a early power rankings, and we'll see what I think about it. We're going to start with Masahiro Tanaka. So apparently for Tanaka, we have been hearing that he was just either going to re-sign with the Yankees or he was going to go back to Japan. And apparently that is not true. There's apparently zero chance of him going back to Japan to pitch, and he's willing to pitch for any team, so it'll likely come down to money. Now, this could be a problem for the Yankees, who have focused all their attention on DJ LeMahieu. So, while the Yankees already could be down Tanaka and Paxton, so they need to find a way, I believe, to bring back Tanaka, and if not, their rotation will be in serious trouble. We'll get into that more later, of course, though. Another thing to mention is Paxton, a great buy low candidate for many teams, I believe. I believe, like I was saying yesterday, he fit the mold the Red Sox might be looking for, or same for the team like a Phillies, who are a team that is like a borderline playoff team but needs to save money in the rotation. I feel like teams like that should be looking at Paxton. While we're at it, you have to say that Paxton trade did end up working out pretty horribly for the Yankees. Nothing to Cashman's fault, however, but Paxton was just never healthy with the Yankees for much time, certainly. Meanwhile, Sheffield put together a very solid season with the Mariners last year and seems to be trending right on upwards. So that trade is certainly looking like a buster for the Yankees. However, they could certainly bring him back, and maybe he'll find a way to put it together. Doesn't seem like that, though, with their attention going to DJ and Tanaka currently. The last guy we're going to be talking about in our quick hits is Alex Colome. Many teams are showing interest in him, mainly the White Sox on re-signing him, the Nationals, Red Sox, Astros, and Twins. All teams you expect, all teams that desperately are looking to be on the playoff cusp and really could use some bullpen help. So I'm hoping the Red Sox will sign him with Bloom there. He's a former Rays guy, so the fit would make sense. However, I also feel like he would be a great fit on the Twins, who, with an extra arm in their bullpen, could really have a strong bullpen there. But I could say that about any of these teams, I feel like, and the same would behold. Now we're going to get onto these early season rankings. So what I'm going to do is start from the bottom and work our way up. And I'm only going to really look at the top about 10, but we'll mention some of the ones at the bottom. So we'll start, our first couple mentions will be with the Nationals at 22 and the Red Sox at 23. I'll certainly say as constructed, these definitely make sense. However, I believe both of these teams are going to end up making moves, and they'll probably climb. Nationals can climb up, honestly, very high. I feel like with the Red Sox can probably get around this 15 range, which makes about sense. Then we'll look at the Angels. Angels, honestly, could fall either direction. They could end up going up by the end of the offseason, or they could end up going down. If they do make some moves, like I was citing they might yesterday, then they could certainly be up in the 10s area. Honestly, any team that has Trout should be, but they always could fall back and do nothing. And if they do, I'd have to imagine they drop in these. My next couple of items is with the Phillies and the Cubs. I believe the Cubs are going to plummet in these rankings. They're only going to trade more people, I believe, and if they do so, they will be a borderline 20 ranked team around like the Giants or Mariners level. Then the Phillies will with Real Muto and an extra reliever probably could be up to the 12, 11 area. But it's hard for me to say that because I feel like it's hard for anyone to really trust this team right now after last season. But if they are able to bring in an arm or two, they're a team that I feel like should definitely be in on Colome. But it doesn't seem like they are at the moment. But they're a team that should get in on him. They bring back Real Muto and bring in a couple of relievers, they can certainly be higher up. And my last little And then so now we have Cardinals 12. I probably think they'll stay around there. Even if they bring another person, another hitter, their offense is still going to be very below average, and their pitching will certainly have to carry that team. Indians 11, I feel like they will probably fall. They have not been aggressive making any moves over the last couple of years. I feel like teams are going to eventually, I hope, make some moves and pass them up. But obviously that remains to be seen. Now we're on to our top 10 here. At number 10, we have the Rays. Now, this makes sense. Coming off the World Series title, they just lost two of their two best pitchers, which makes it tough for any team to survive. However, they still have Glasnow, they still have a great bullpen, and they still have an incredible front office, which I'm sure will bring in at least a pitcher that no one's heard of that'll be incredible next year. Just like Nick Anderson was, just like John Curtis was, just like Peter Fairbanks was. In a way, just like Glasnow was. So, however, either way, they will need a good season from Glasnow to really contend this year. Next, we have the Blue Jays at number 9. I feel like this is a bit high for them. Now, they could certainly prove me wrong, but they were a very borderline playoff team last year that didn't make any noise in the playoffs whatsoever. So, obviously, I do expect improvements from their young hitters, especially Vlad Guerrero has to have a good season next year. They simply need it. He was not great, has not been very good in his major league career for all the hype that has surrounded him. Not that there's a problem with that, it's just next year they're certainly going to want to see something from them. However, if they do end up bringing in a good starter, maybe a Paxton would be a good fit on this team as well. Or even if they want to go bigger like a Tanaka, that could certainly make sense. And then this 9 would be a lot more justified. Number 8, we have the Mets. And I'll say it now, after they make their moves, whether Springer or Bauer, then I'll agree with this. However, right now, I think this is a little high for them. They have Syndergaard coming. Right now, their rotation is about Jacob deGrom right now, I feel like. Syndergaard is coming back off a major injury. I have never loved Steven Matz. He has really never done much in his career, I feel like. He was good his rookie year and maybe a little bit after, but ever since, not really. So I believe after they make their moves, obviously other than McCann, which is definitely an upgrade over Ramos, they'll be justified at 8. Not quite, I believe, yet. Number 7, we'll have the A's. A's and Rays are these kind of prototypical, similar teams, but A's don't have really any big losses coming this offseason. Meanwhile, the Rays do. And I believe guys like Olsen and Semien could still take a step forward. And however, a big loss could be Liam Hendricks in that bullpen, who held a near 1 ERA. It doesn't seem like they'll be able to lose it, bring him back, so that's going to hurt. But however, I do trust their offense into bringing a good reliever in. Same feeling I have with the Rays. I feel like the 7 is about justified. We'll go on to number 6, the Chicago White Sox. One of the more exciting teams of the last season. They're hoping to have Kopech back this season. We'll see if he can really do anything. But all being said and done, I feel like this could be a little bit high for the White Sox. I feel like that's about, if it makes sense, but I feel like they probably won't end at number 6 because I don't think they'll make more moves where some of the teams I just listed will. However, they don't really need to. They just kind of need to stand the course, maybe bring back Colome, like I mentioned. This is about right currently. Now we're into the top 5. And number 5 in the power rankings are the Twins. And this is a bit interesting for me. So, this team really needs to bring back some pitching. They just lost Odorizzi. Odorizzi is a guy who any team would like. And Rich Hill, again, very old, unfortunately very old, but still two very good pitchers that frontlined them last year. Not only that, but losing 3 relievers. Trevor May, who has already signed with the Mets, that was a great signing for them, by the way. And they've also lost Clippard and Sergio Romo. So I believe this will be justified if they can bring some pitching back. If not, however, I feel like the White Sox should have gotten this spot. Number 4, we're going to go to the Braves. Braves just missed out on the World Series last year, and man, this rotation is going to be dangerous. I feel like the Braves should be higher, quite frankly. Listen, I did not have much faith in their bullpen and their rotation coming into that playoff run. However, Max Fried, who I love, he was incredible and I expected to, but Ian Anderson took the baseball world by storm. And now, not only that, they're bringing. The only problem was they really only had those 2 guys, and they carried them as long as they could. But there's only so much they can do. However, now you bring back Mike Soroka, who was incredible his rookie season, and you add playoff Chuck Charlie Morton, and one of the best postseason relief starters ever. Not only that, Drew Smiley will be a guy who can eat up innings in the regular season. This rotation is going to be very, very dangerous. I feel like they should be higher up. I feel like they should be 2 on these rankings, but we'll get into the teams in front of them. The offense, the pitching is all going to be, everything's just going to be there for this team. Number 3, we have the Yankees. Now, I'll agree with this if they are able to bring back some of their guys, because right now, the rotation is Garrett Cole and Garrett Cole about alone. They should have Luis Severino back at some point this year, but we'll have to see if he can provide anything for them. But otherwise, Garrett Cole is basically the only man in this rotation right now. So they're short. Right now, they're losing out on about 2 very valuable players in Tanaka and DJ. And then Paxton, who is certainly a player I feel like they would like to bring back, given the right situation or right contract comes up. But this spot, for now, I would have put the Braves in front of them. However, this does make sense. Looking back on it, also Montgomery should have a full season this year, but we'll have to see with that, obviously. Also, they will certainly need another step forward from D.V. Garcia. I believe I'm saying that right. He had some flashes where he's good, but overall was not incredible for most of his time in the majors. So we'll have to see what we get out of him. Another problem with the Yankees is their bullpen was not as good as we expected last year, especially because of the faults of Adam Ottavino. The bullpen is supposed to be able to carry them, and if a guy like Ottavino isn't good, that's going to be very, very difficult. That's why I'd have the Braves in front of them. But yeah, if they bring back some of those guys, that spot will make more sense. Number 2, we have the Padres. And what I would probably say is slow down just a little with this first. I understand it, but I would also have the Braves in front of this team. However, we all know the deal with the Padres. Just brought in Snell and Yu Darvish to go along with Paddock in that rotation, which is going to be incredible. Also brought in Kim and Victor Caratini to catch. However, I would currently have the Braves in front of them. However, this team will certainly be very exciting and certainly deserving of a top 3 spot in this current power rankings. And number 1, gotta be the Dodgers. No one else you could put but the Dodgers here. The only players they are possibly going to lose this offseason is Justin Turner and Kiki Hernandez. I predict they'll bring back Turner. If they don't, it sounds like they'll bring someone even better and possibly LeMahieu or Nolan Arenado. I don't even want to think of how good that team would be. Imagine a guy like DJ and... Turner's already incredible, but if you could make that spot better, there's no limits to this team, I think. And Kiki Hernandez would definitely hurt to lose, but he's really a role player, so it wouldn't be the biggest deal. They might bring in a starter, but listen, they have Buehler, Kershaw, along with 2 MVP candidates in Mookie Betts and Bellinger. You can't have anyone number 1 but the Dodgers. So yeah, my top 3 would probably have 3 teams from the NL. It looks like the top of the NL is probably going to be better. However, the AL probably will have a better quality of postseason teams this year. I can't wait to see if they're going to hold some of the rules from last year or not. I really want to see if I really hope the NL brings the DH back. Kind of embarrassing for baseball to not know what the plan is, which kind of hurts these NL teams a lot. Especially like the Dodgers, if they knew they would bring back the DH, I'm sure they would re-sign Turner much quicker. The really only concern with Turner is playing the position, I think, because he is getting older. They've talked about him maybe playing first at some times, but I think if they knew they could DH him, they would definitely bring him back on like a 2-year contract. But anyway, yeah, remember, these are very early rankings. So a lot, like I said, is going to change, but I'll probably do another episode like this at some point. However, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Basically, just so we all know, all the trade rumors I got was from MLB Trade Rumors on Twitter, and this article is from Allison Footer from MLB News. And I thank you all for listening. Have a great day. This is Adam signing off.